Commissioner Baker, those inspiring words, and for being here and sharing this special day with us. Our next speaker is Ms. Donna Fare. Donna is an Air Force veteran. She received her doctorate from Auburn University. She recently retired from the U.S. National Arboretum in McMinnville, Tennessee. Donna is the chairwoman for the Upper Cumberland Veteran State Cemetery Committee and spearheaded the challenge in getting the State Veteran Cemetery in the Upper Cumberlands. Her team raised funds throughout the Upper Cumberlands and worked with Tennessee Department of Veteran Services in attaining a state veteran cemetery located soon to be in White County, just outside of Sparta. Ladies and gentlemen, Donna Fare.
Can you hear me? Yes. Hopefully I won't yell too much at you today, but greetings to you from Sparta, Tennessee. I want to thank all of you for being here, for taking a small portion of your day to honor our military members who have died in the line of duty. For those of you who are a Gold Star family, please accept this service as a tribute to your family for one of your loved ones that gave the ultimate sacrifice to secure and keep democracy in our country. In November 1863, President Abraham Lincoln gave a 2-minute speech. It is known as the Gettysburg Address. He was there to dedicate a portion of the battlefield as a final resting place for those who gave their lives that this nation might live. The last sentence of President Lincoln's address states, "It is rather for us to be here, the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they are here, gave the last full measure of devotion that we are here highly resolved these dead should not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth." It was just after the Civil War that the Army Office of Quartermaster embarked on a 4-year program to recover the remains of Union soldiers. Campaign routes, battlefields, hospital grounds, prison grounds were scoured for remains and temporary graves. Unless families claimed the bodies, the remains were relocated to a veteran cemetery, a national cemetery. When the program concluded in 1871, over 300,000 soldiers were reinterred in 73 national cemeteries or in family cemeteries. About 42% of those could not be identified. This was the first time a country gathered its dead for reburial in cemeteries to honor their service. The accepted use of dog tags since World War I and the development of DNA screening have reduced our number of unidentified soldiers. For many years, the Army was responsible for maintaining military cemeteries, and then the Veterans Administration took over in 1973. There were many cemeteries near military campaigns or near high military populations. But since the mid-1970s, the Veterans Administration has developed over 17 national cemeteries. They've expanded acreage on existing cemeteries, and they've increased the state-run cemeteries. The state-run cemeteries complement the VA's goal of providing a 75-mile or less drive from a veteran's home to a military cemetery. This ensures that veterans living in remote areas of the U.S. have burial access in a military cemetery. Today, the National Cemetery Administration manages more than 150 national cemeteries. Nearly 4.9 million soldiers, including veterans from every conflict, are honored by burial in VA national cemeteries. Each year, about 15% of eligible veterans who die are interred in a VA national cemetery, and about 5% or opt for a state, territorial, or tribal veteran cemetery. I am proud to say that the Tennessee Department of Veterans Services has worked long and hard to provide cemetery access to all of our Tennessee veterans. Currently, there are 5 national cemeteries in Tennessee: Nashville, Chattanooga, Memphis, Knoxville, and Mountain Home in East Tennessee. There are 5 state-run cemeteries: 2 in Knoxville, 1 in Memphis, 1 in Nashville, and the newest at Parker's Crossroads in West Tennessee. Many of these cemeteries are full or they're landlocked, which prevents expansion. The only area of Tennessee that does not have a veteran cemetery within a 75-mile radius is here in the Upper Cumberland. We have about 25,000 veterans living in this area. Since 2013, the Tennessee Department of Veterans Services and the Upper Cumberland State Veteran Cemetery Association has been working to help raise money, raise awareness, and find suitable land for a cemetery. Here in Putnam County, Chuck Mateka, Jimmy Loftus, and Dutch Richardson have been instrumental in fundraising and promoting the cemetery. And when you guys stand up, give a big wave so you can be recognized. Thank you very much. So as Mark mentioned, in the fall of 2020, there was 120 acres purchased on Country Club Road, just east of Sparta in White County. So yes, we will have a veteran cemetery here in the Upper Cumberland, and hopefully, under the leadership of Commissioner Baker, that's going to be soon. Following protocol from the National Cemetery Administration, the state must purchase the land. However, then that administration provides the funds to build the cemetery. Last year in June, Veterans Services submitted a grant to the National Cemetery Administration to secure those fundings. Our project ranked number 66, and there were 42 projects funded. This year in June, the Department of Veterans Services will be resubmitting the grant to the Cemetery Administration, and hopefully we will find out late September, early October, if the funding has been secured. Once that funding is secured and construction starts, it will take about 24 months before a burial will be interred in that cemetery. Cemeteries funded under the National Cemetery Administration must conform to the standards of all national cemeteries. The administration will provide a pavilion for a chapel, but it will not fund enclosing the chapel, providing heating and air, or bathrooms, because we live in one of the southern states where the weather is always really nice. However, if we raise the monies for these amenities for the cemetery, like enclosing the chapel, heating and air, bathroom facilities, an enhanced flag court, maybe a covered kiosk for burial information, then the architects will include those in the cemetery layout. So there is still work to be done. To date, we have raised over $215,000 at a local level from the 14 counties in the Upper Cumberland. $200,000 was gifted to the state for the purchase of the land. And I want you to know, in Putnam County, you should be very proud, because of that $215,000, your money's contributed over 30% of that. So pat yourself on the back. Since the military first established a cemetery, there have been over 1.1 million soldiers die in the line of service to this country. Since Memorial Day in 2021, just 365 days, 18 American soldiers have died in the line of duty. Sometimes we forget that Decoration Day, as I grew up knowing it, Memorial Day now, It's just another American holiday full of fun, cookouts, get-togethers, the kickoff of summer. But Memorial Day is a time to remember, even for just a few minutes, to remember those men and women from your hometown, from my hometown, from all across the country who have served and died. Be thankful for their loyalty and their sacrifice to this country. The loss of their lives, it saddens us and it touches our hearts. But as President Lincoln stated, it is up to us to ensure that Memorial Day traditions carry on long after we are gone, to make sure our fallen soldiers are remembered for their courage, their bravery, while protecting our freedom in this wonderful way of life. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for inviting me. Have a wonderful day. Please keep all of our fallen soldiers in your hearts and prayers today.